Howdy folks, welcome to Space Engineers. This is Apex Survival Update, and we're hopefully not crashing into the planet. Hey, there we go. We got some parachute. We're in a blue rover, and it looks like we're up in the snowy mountains. Interesting. Well, we're not going to have any trouble finding ice. That's for sure. So when we start, we do have a pistol, 4 mags, and some meal packs. And that's it. We got a little bit of starting materials in the survival kit. So we need to start looking for food. I'm going to turn... Well, I'll leave the ore detector on, I guess. It's going to detect ice everywhere. I need to get some lower altitude, I think. We're up here in the snow. Probably not going to find too many berries and stuff up here. So the goals for this series, I want to grow a bunch of wheat at a massive scale, automate farming, and ship that off to HQ. That's kind of a little bit of a backstory that I'm going to go with. We were dropped here on this Earth-like planet. Try to grow some food. I can't tell which direction I need to go. Almost looks like I should go this way. Which is southwest. Yeah, let's head this direction. We'll turn off the ore scanner. And while we're heading this direction, I want to set up a little bit of stuff. The cockpit, I can turn that off. The antenna will show our ship name. Let's get our lights tied into a group. Rover lights. And we can set those up on our hotbar. So we can toggle those off. There we go. So I'll put a mod list in the description. Most of the settings are pretty much default for survival. I did tweak a few things. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment. Pretty standard. We do have wolves and spiders enabled, so since we're on the Earth-like planet, we should run into wolves occasionally. So there'll be a little bit of a threat. See something over here. And then we can get some meat from them as well. So first priority is I need to find a base location, get set up, and start making some food, some algae, so that we can survive. Because we have a hunger bar now, you can see down there in the lower left. And we've only got the 4 kelp crisp packets here to get us going. Now, is this something we can harvest? No, that's just a scenery plant. Okay, I see a boulder over there. So, let's go check out the boulder. I need to get down to lower elevation where we can find some more stuff growing. Oh, no, that's a bush as well. Don't think those are harvestable. Nope, they look like boulders off in the distance, but they are indeed just bushes. Alright. So we're probably going to start off with wind power. That'll be the easiest thing to get going. But I need to find... We're going to need a lot of silicon for the algae farm to feed us. So we're going to need to look for silicon. This actually looks like a ore deposit. We have magnesium here. Okay. Drive this way a little bit. Do we have anything else with the magnesium? We have some magnesium and some nickel. Alright. So let's do magnesium, nickel. Oh, we got some silicon here. Perfect. We can actually use a little bit of silicon. How deep is that? Something like that. So if we go back to our GPS, this also has silicon. Oh, I didn't set up my toolbar. Let's get rid of that stuff. Character tools. Ew, I didn't start with tools. That's a problem. I didn't want to have tools on respawn. I thought that's what that setting meant. Well, let me adjust a couple things, and I'll be right back. Okay, little bit of fixing there with the admin tools. Yeah, I meant to spawn with tools, but I don't want to get tools when I die. So, all right, that is 30 meters down. That's a decent amount down, isn't it? But we could use some silicon. So I'm going to drill down a bit. Is this ice we're drilling through? It is. Also, I want to do auto or show HUD false. There we go. And we are indeed getting a little bit of ice. Okay, I'm going to go back to right-click drilling. I just wanted to pick up a little bit to take with us. We don't really have much storage space on the rover. It's just the cockpit. And then we can put stone in the survival kit, but that's pretty much it. So we don't have a lot of room. We'll get just a little bit of silicon. That'll help us get the algae farm going. And then we need to set up somewhere where we've got access to iron and ice fairly nearby. So it's going to take a lot of ice to grow the farm stuff. But first order of business is to get algae farms up and going so we can stay alive. To build the big farm. Okay, now we're getting into the silicon. So let's get a suit full of that. Then we'll be on our way. Okay, I think that's close enough. I'm actually not used to having a jetpack. Yeah, man. There we go. Alright, so we'll leave that marked. Get on our way. Let me throw that in there and that in there. We got almost all of it in. Okay, the journey continues. I'm going to do a little bit of driving, and I'll bring you all back in when we're set up. Hopefully at a starting location, or if something interesting happens. Well, I've been driving for a while. Finally got off the ice, and I have found first signs of food. So I actually went up in elevation, but I got out of the snow. Is that going to stay? Hopefully that will stay there. We got some fruit. There we go. Not much, but it's a start. Found a little bit of iron and a little bit of stuff here and there. Threw some stone in. So I got a little bit of silicon. I've got some iron. I've been marking things as I go. But I was excited to finally see a plant. It looks like it was bearing some food, so I'm going to travel the grasslands here, see what else I can find. I was hoping I could get up here at the top and find some kind of decent base location, but so far it's just ice. I don't know. We may have to build a greenhouse if it's going to be this cold here. I was heading south, hoping I could get to a warmer climate. Is that I think that's just a scenery bush. A lot of those around. No sign of any wheat yet. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled, because that's the main mission here, is to grow some wheat. Alright, let's head to the top. Still pretty cold looking up here. But I'm going to have to eventually set up shop somewhere and build food production for myself. There's not a lot of boulders. I don't know if they've decreased the number of boulders, if I'm just not lucky, but I found a few here and there. I'm going to keep on driving, and I'll see what I can find. If nothing else, I'm going to have to set up shop and just build some algae production for myself. Well, folks, I have not found much. So we're going to set up shop here because I need to start growing some food real fast. Also, I need some interior plate and some steel plate. So let's just make that. Let's get some stuff laid down. I need to get a little basic base going. Probably ought to go ahead and do 20 interior plates. Alright, let's go back to inventory. That'll let us start placing stuff down at least. So I want that side up. I think we'll just start with a like 3x3. And then I'm going to put an armor block down. We're going to get some wind power. Yeah, we need some more steel plate. Let's get some power. I want to get a basic refinery going so I can start refining this iron and silicon that I've got. How high up do we want to go? Probably at least that high. Need even more steel plate. Here we go. You see I've already got some basics set up on my toolbar for what we're going to build. We're going to eventually have a bunch of wind turbines up here, but we're going to start with one just to get some power going. So put all those components into production. And then let's get our basic refinery. That, and we're going to have a basic assembler right off the back of that. And then we're going to eventually want a battery. And I think I'll stick the battery, at least for now, right under there. Stick that there temporarily. Get rid of those guys. Battery. I have one of those right there. You back. Get rid of you. We did chugging away on that stuff. And then we also wanted to start chugging away on the basic refinery. We'll do that. Put the old wind turbine back on the build planner. Alright, let's take what we got, hop up here. We're almost there. We didn't need all the interior plates, but we'll just go for it. We've got a bunch of iron ore on standby. Not sure the build planner is working with me here, so let's hop up here again. Let's grab what we actually need. There we go. That should get us some power going.
Fuel low.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I need to hop in my cockpit.
Critical.
Let's just refill that real quick. There we go. And keep an eye out for wolves. I do have my pistol ready to go. Okay, let's got that going. I want to put a slope right here for easy access. Let's get this basic refinery up. I thought I put all those parts into production. Maybe I didn't. Oh, are you out of iron? You're out of iron already. Awesome. Well, it's time to dig some stone, so I'm going to dig some stone. Let me get this refinery going, and I'll bring you back in. This is the anthem of the early game. Inventory full. Indeed, we are so close to having a refinery. We're getting there. I think I needed 6 steel plates, so we'll grab those. And then just 10 motors. They will be functional. Alright, it's now working on the motors. And we got a little rain. This is some of the new weather effects they've got. We are cold and low oxygen. But I've got the smarter suit mod, so it monitors. If there's enough breathable air, you see my helmet's open. It will automatically manage that. Yeah. My inventory is full. I get it. We've got 8 motors. 9 motors. Then we're going to throw iron ore in the refinery. And be off to the races. There we go. 10 motors. Let's go. Please give me lots of iron. Thank you. Toss that in there. And the silicon as well. Alright, we'll have it run through that. We need one more wind turbine. I think I need steel plate for that, so let's make some steel plates. And let's go stick another one of those on here. Grab that in the build planner. Those parts into production. Then we'll start working on the basic assembler. And we'll be closer. Back, let's go ahead. We've got those parts in. Let's go ahead and grab. Actually, let's not use the build plan. Let's do the bare minimum. So we need 60 steel plates, 40 construction. And I need a bunch more stone. Or we'll grab some iron from here, actually. Now that we got that rocking and rolling. Pop you in. Then we need 10 motors, 4 displays, 80 computers. 10 motors, 4 displays, 80 computers. That will get that to a functional level. We can always make the steel plates later. In the meantime, get this back on the build planner. Start pulling parts out for that. And we're going to have to do a little bit of a shuffle here for a while. Shove that in there. You can see my hunger bar is getting down to 48. So I'm going to go right click on one of these. That'll give us 12%. So that will slowly fill up to 12%. I'm going to stay in here where it's warm and dry. I'm going to get the rest of those parts made. I'll be back in a little bit. We're not quite done with the parts, but I just got a new buff info. So since I've survived, we got a 10% bump to health, welding, grinding speed. A little bit of a bump to movement speed, and our oxygen consumption has gone down a little bit. So the longer we survive, the more buffs we get. And I'm going to turn off the ore detector while we're sitting here. Yeah, up to, I forget, up to 150%, I think, on those. And we're just waiting on some interior plates. These don't appear to be in the build queue. It's all good. I don't know why it thinks we need those. Probably because I already had them in my inventory. There we go. Now we have enough power, in theory, to run the assembler and the refinery at the same time. 3 would be better, but that's a good start. Let's go and move the silicon over, just in case it's needed. Probably not, but just in case. Alright, I'm going to mine some more stone. I'm going to get the parts together for the assembler. We'll be back. There we go. We just missed a few steel plates, but it's at least functional now. Let's go ahead and start working on the battery. Grind this out of the way. So I'm going to grab that on my build planner. Say put all those into production. Now I need to move all the materials over to here so it can pull them out. Let's go to the basic assembler. Oops. Let it start working on that. I think I have all the ore. I've got all the ore out of here, so I might have to go out and get some ore. I saw that wind turbine shadow moving on that tree over there, and I thought it was a wolf. Slight moment of panic. So let's check our production here. We're going to be, yeah, we don't have enough iron. We need like 500. We need like 500 iron, so... Did I find... I found some iron, but they're pretty far away. Yeah, I didn't find any iron close by, so I'm going to have to go do some looking around. Unfortunately. Maybe we should get the algae going instead of that, but I'm still going to need iron. Oh boy. Alright, I'm going to roam around a little bit, see if I can find some iron. You know what? I did not mark that location. I should mark my home base or I'll never find it again. Don't drive into the hole. There we go. We'll do that. We'll leave that marked and we'll make it a nice, like, nice green color. Alright, if I was iron, where would I be hiding? That looks like that might be an ore patch over there. Don't really want to drive 11 kilometers back to that iron boulder. Maybe this was not an ore patch. A little steep down in here. Alright, I'm going to do some driving around. Hopefully not starve to death. And find some iron. Iron acquired. Heading back to base. Found the iron patch only about 2.5 kilometers away. So that wasn't too bad. Also found nickel, magnesium, silicon. So we got stuff really close to this base location, which is great. Let's see if we can get this... battery made and then get some algae farms built. Have some iron ore. That in the assembler. Alright, how are we looking here? Let's just get started on the power cells. Those will take a little while. We're losing daylight. I hope I have enough food to last through the night. What does it take to make a bed? Not too much. That's good. I think this has all the food stuff on it, so we'll stick that on our hotbar. And you can see if we go to the algae farm, it takes a lot of glass. So that'll be next up once we get some actual power. So I can't pull parts from there, so I need to come over here and pull parts. Okay, let's start slapping parts in this thing. Yep, it's working away on the power cells. I did a little bit of a roll on the way back. Luckily, the rover didn't explode. I think it may have hit on the ladder up top. Everything okay up here? Yeah, I think we lucked out. We didn't break anything. One thing I wanted to do was replace this with the cooler one from the DLC. So let's do ore detector. Stick that there for now. So I wanted this ore detector type 2. It's animated, it looks cool. There we go. Then we can come in here and take that off. Actually turn that off, we don't need it. And we got a little bit of a snowstorm piling up here. And we're freezing. Awesome. Hopefully the suit will keep us somewhat warm. Alright, we're just 5 power cells short. Alright, now it's just building the computers, but those are not needed to make it functional. They're just needed to finish it up. So that can get charging now. We got all this storm power blowing through. So that's fantastic. There we go. I need some interior plate, don't I? I can't pass through the cockpit. There we go. Put that back. Okay, we have a rudimentary base. The one thing I need to make is some more ammo. Because I'm expecting wolves to show up here eventually. So how we doing it? We got a decent amount of iron. I think I may go ahead and make a farm system that actually tracks the sun. And I'm going to need some steel plate. So let's make some steel plate. And we're getting kind of low. If we get low enough on food, we're not going to be able to sprint. So let's go ahead and get some food going. So, yeah, I'm going to want a farm that tracks the sun for maximum efficiency. So let's grab that. It kind of looks like the sun. So yeah, it's kind of setting in the west. Makes sense. So let's come out a ways. I don't want to interfere with the wind turbines. Come out a ways. Can I knock this down with a grinder? I can. Okay, cool. So we might clear out some of these trees. So they're not getting in our way. I don't know if they block sun or not in game. I think we'll have our little starter farm right over here. So we need some, let's see, rotors. hinges, pistons, connectors, conveyors. I'll get us started. So let's put a conveyor junction here, and then we're going to need a advanced rotor to turn. We're going to need a hinge. Then we're going to need another junction. Like that, and then we need an algae farm. Like that. That will be at least one thing. So let's get all this on the build planner. Actually, let's get the algae farm on the build planner. Get that in production, then we can build the rest of it. We'll get a custom turret controller. But we need food pronto. So we need a bunch of these algae farms. Let me take that off. If I go to algae farm. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I wanted to do at all. Just put all that into production and let it crunch, and we'll see how much stuff we have. And then I also want to get a bed. Let's just do a half bed. Let's get that into production as well. So I'm gonna let it crunch on those parts. I want the bed so I can sleep through the night. I don't know if hunger goes down when you sleep. That's something I need to test. It would make sense that it would, but I don't know if that's how it actually works. Let's do a half bed. Alright, we need interior plates. Displays. Let's get this bed down because this storm is kind of ridiculous. There we go. I think I'll just throw it down here for now. This is not the permanent base layout. This is the feed me before I die base. Alright, the rest of that stuff is crunching through. Get that back on the build planner. Alright, let's get this thing built. It's not going to do much tonight because it needs pretty much full sunlight. At least it's... oh crap, I forgot to put the hinge lock on. That was dumb.
Energy low.
Alright, we'll redo that. Let me get it recharged.
Fuel low.
Yeah. Everything's low. I need to put the hinge lock on so it doesn't rotate once you start building on it. Forgot to do that. There we go. Alright. So, we need a hinge. We had a junction. And we had the algae farm. Then I want this hinge lock to be on. Perfect. There we go. It's got one little light. I'm sure it's not going to do much. But I'm going to build another one on each side of this. And we'll have them eventually connected with conveyors. Because I want this to go right into the food processor and automatically make kelp crisps. Almost out of hydrogen again. I probably should make myself a hydrogen bottle.
Fuel low.
Yep, fuel indeed is low.
Fuel critical.
Not anymore. I've cut this video up some. I'm not sure how long it is. It's probably getting about long enough. I think the transitions now are much better. Remember in the last patch, the storms would just abruptly quit. I think they got rid of that with the storm rework. So that is nice to see. Oh, I forgot to grab the parts. Are we out of silicon? I do believe we're out of silicon. Yep. Okay, well, we got 2 built. Got a little bit of sun sweeping through. We go see. So if we look at this guy, we go to Algae Farm. Yeah, he's actually going to make something here. Slowly but surely, he's going to start making some kelp. So I need to go gather some materials and then probably sleep through the night. So we'll pick that up in the next video. In the next morning, we should have a little bit of food. We're not quite dead yet. Eat another one of those. I think it's a good start. Let me know what you think. Have you tried out the Apex Survival Update? I'm digging it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks as always for hanging out, folks. I'll catch you in the next adventure, and take care.